Hi everyone, Senator Jason Rarick here at the Capitol, and today I want to talk to you about something that is really frustrating for me, but more importantly, we have a number of people around the state of Minnesota who rely on services through these in-home care and long-term care facilities, providing help for those in most need. They get a lot of funding through DHS. And we all know, we've been hearing about the rampant fraud through DHS here in Minnesota. And we all want to get our hands around it, stop the fraud. And the Trump administration came in a while back telling DHS here in Minnesota they had to figure this out or they were going to get cut off, which to me was the right thing to do. Here's where the problem comes back. As they asked all of these providers around the state of Minnesota to reapply for reauthorization, the information that was given to these folks was fairly inadequate. The resources available to them was very inadequate. When they reached out for help, multiple times they would sit on the phone for a long time, get bounced around, never getting the answers they needed. Many of whom have shown us the documentation. We turned in everything we were asked to turn in on time. Yet hundreds, if not thousands of them now, as we come to the final days, are being notified, you're not being reauthorized. And these are our legitimate providers, some of whom have been around for 50 years providing services for those most in need. And now they're going to be cut off. And as legislators are trying to reach out and work with DHS to figure this out, now we're reaching out and we're getting responses. Sorry, I'm out of the office until July 16th. Sorry, I'm out of the office until, July 6th. Or people who are being sent over there to help out because of all of these people gone, they're changing email addresses for this new role, but who knows what that new email address is in order to reach out to them. This is just so frustrating, the ineptitude that's being driven by the Walz administration through DHS. I know we have good workers there. The whistleblowers have been trying to get a hold of this fraud since way before 2019. They've been trying to expose this. They've been trying to say, this is what we need to do. So I know we have good people there. But it's these middle to upper levels of administration that answer directly to Governor Walz. That's where our problem is. And right now, guess what? They're trying to blame the Trump administration because he's trying to get a handle on the fraud. And they don't seem to care that this is going to profoundly impact these organizations that have been providing these services for years and years, and more importantly, the people who have been relying on those services. This is going to be devastating, but it just doesn't seem like DHS and these upper administrative folks care one bit. They seem to care more about protecting their jobs and blaming somebody else for the problem. And now we're going to have Minnesotans who truly rely on these services are going to be impacted. I mean, I've heard from 3 groups in my district alone that they can't last even 2 months without these reimbursements. There's just, they're not making a lot of money. They're providing services for these people who so need it. And 2 months of not having reimbursements, they're going to go under. And then what are we going to do? Folks, we need to solve the fraud problem, but not on the backs of those most in need. And we've seen this repeatedly from the proposals that have come from Walz's administration through DHS. Seems to always go after Minnesotans who most need these programs. That's why DHS and the funding that goes through our Health and Human Services committees is so large, because Minnesotans have said these people deserve help. And yet then that's the people we're going to go after and the services people whose services are going to be cut, this makes no sense to me. This is all about protecting oneself, their positions, and trying to blame somebody else for the problem. DHS has had issues ever since 2019 when Walz took over. It is really becoming clear, and folks, we need to be getting loud to tell the Walz administration, you are not solving the problem. Hurting these providers and the people who rely on their services is not the way to do this. We need to make sure they're getting their funding, that these people are taken care of, and find the actual fraudsters and cut them off and actually put them in prison, because that's where they belong. I hope everyone knows there are legislators from both sides of the aisle working on this issue, trying to get it resolved in the right way. Unfortunately, the upper levels of administration at DHS and Governor Walz are not cooperating.